Welcome to SANS Forensics 508. My name is Chad Tilbury. I'm the course lead of this course, and along with my co-author, Mike Pilkington, we are thrilled to have you taking it. Now, if I'm sitting in this chair, that means we've got a new update. And actually, we have an amazing update for you in this case. 9 months in the making, blood, sweat, tears to bring this to you in the studio. And I'm super excited to be able to share it to you. So we have all brand new exercises, basically a brand new course. And I'm really excited to actually just be able to work through this data set with you. Now you're taking this in the on-demand format, which has always been one of my favorites. I think you have some really unique opportunities here that you don't always have in maybe live training. As an example, where you can pause the training and you can go have a bite to eat. You can rewind and listen to some of the denser sections. If your mind kind of wanders a little bit, you can go back and actually listen again and again to the most important parts of the course. There's parts that you already know. You can fast forward, of course. And also, I think you just have some unique opportunities where you can really kind of stop, think, and maybe work through some of the more complex parts of the course. Go do some research. Go check things on your own computer. Go check things on your own network if you're working in an organization. Stop and do extra research. Work with some of our subject matter experts here on the on-demand side to ask more in-depth questions. So many great ways to work with this material and really make sure you get the maximum amount out of it in this on-demand format. Now, we live in a world of complex networks where we just have essentially organizations under constant attack. And so we need people like you that are going to be there on the front lines that can essentially help staunch the bleeding, can help identify attacks rapidly, stop them from becoming these catastrophic events that we're seeing in the news every day. And that's a big part of what we designed this course to be. When I think of this course in a nutshell, it's this idea of developing threat hunters, finding or identifying individuals and giving the skills necessary to basically drop into a network and find evil and put a stop to it. So really the goals of this course have largely been to make you a better incident responder, to make you a better threat hunter, to increase your skills at forensic analysis. And by the way, if you happen to be on the red team, learning all this blue team side of things is really going to help you as well. In fact, I think the best cyber defenders out there actually know both sides of the coin. The idea of understanding how we're fighting these attacks can help the red team also identify how to test those defenses on the networks to make sure they're more defensible when the real attacks come. So I think there's just so much value from really understanding and really working through the material in this course. Now, you're going to find out through this course that I am extremely passionate about this subject, and I wake up every day just so thankful that I get to do this kind of work. I really don't know what else I would do. I've dedicated my life to incident response and forensic analysis. For over 20 years, I've been doing this kind of work. I got my start in the U.S. Air Force. I was on something called the National Intrusion Squadron, which basically did U.S. Department of Defense-wide investigations into some of the biggest attacks that we had into those networks. I've worked at a defense contractor, and for the better part of a decade, I worked on teams at Mandiant and CrowdStrike doing incident response, working with some of the preeminent incident responders on the planet. You often hear this idea of if you want to get better, surround yourself with people that do the same kind of work at a high level. And I feel very thankful that I've gotten to work with just a massive amount of very smart individuals. And my goal is to try to bring in that knowledge into the classroom. So my goal is to bring that big stack of books you have in front of you to life, bring real world stories and really make you understand why it matters and how you can use this information to increase your own skills and of course, to increase the defensibility of our networks as a whole. So I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to have fun with you. I think it's time to get started. Okay, if you're looking at this slide, we are at our introduction slide here, and a couple things to note. Hopefully that you followed the instructions that came along with the course. You've downloaded your course media. We start with our course media A, which is going to have your virtual machines in it. Hopefully you've gone through the instructions, what we call the exercise 0 or the lab 0 to get those virtual machines up and running. If you're at that stage, congratulations, you're pretty much all the way there. We also have another lab that we'll talk about, Lab 1.1, which will give us some background on the Stark Research Labs investigation. That's the investigation we'll be running together throughout this course. And then finally, a couple extra pieces of information that are on this slide that's worth mentioning is you'll notice a couple of links. So one is for our course Dropbox. That's a great one to go ahead and visit, maybe bookmark or earmark this in your slides. This is going to be how we can share additional resources with you. So if you go out there now, what you'll see, maybe some bonus labs, you will see some information related to the certification exam, if you're taking that exam. Also just an ability to share some threat reports. It's just a kind of an offline resource that will kind of augment some of the things that we talk about in the course. So that's a good one to know about. And then you also notice a links link, which is going to be essentially some websites. And so from time to time, you might hear me mention websites of interest or things like that. Instead of you having to scribble down kind of what I've mentioned, just have a nice selection of some of my favorite links that really supplement what we talk about in the course.